Screen is visible. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we will solve problems on deflection of composite members. The finding here as like the normal PAC beam, here the composite beam will be given. Okay, composite beam will be given. For that composite beam, we need to find the deflection. But the method of finding the deflection for a composite beam is similar to that of pre-stressed beam. There are some minor changes. Okay, minor changes and compare the calculation of normal PSA beam to that of composite beam. That I will tell you. Okay, during solving the problem. Just note this problem. Problem number 1. Write the headline as deflection of composite members. Deflection of composite member. If you are thoroughly understood the model 2, the deflection of PAC beam, then nothing is there in understanding this deflection of composite beams. Okay, it is 90%, it is same only, 90%. Okay, all of you write this problem, take 2 minutes time. Finished, students? Finished, huh? Or still writing? Okay. Let me go through the problem once. Okay. A composite T girder. It is a T girder means it is a composite section. Okay. Slab is of cast in situ element, and that beam will be pre-stressed to the concrete member. Okay. Therefore, it is a composite member. A composite T girder of span 5 meter is made up of a pre-tensioned rib 100 mm wide, 200 mm deep, with an in situ cast slab 400 mm wide, 40 mm thick. Okay. The geometrical properties are similar to the previous problem. Analysis of stresses problem we have solved now one problem in the previous class. The same geometrical properties are given to find the deflection of a composite member here. The rib is pre-stressed by a straight cable having an eccentricity of 33.33 mm and carrying an initial force of 150 kilonewton. Pre-stressing force is given, eccentricity is given. The loss of pre-stress may be assumed to be 15%. 15% loss of pre-stress is to be assumed while doing the calculation. Then it is asked to check the composite T-beam for the limit state of deflection if it supports an imposed load of 3.2 kN per meter. Means we have to find what is the actual deflection of the T-beam corresponding to the loading condition given. That deflection should be compared with the limit state deflection. Limit state of deflection means there is some limit for the deflection specified, that is span by 250. Okay, 5 meter is a span given. Okay, that is the maximum permissible deflection allowed to the beam. Okay, span by 250, if you do that, deflection should be compared with the actual deflection. Okay, means we have to find what is the actual deflection for the given loading condition. That deflection should be compared with the limiting deflection. If the actual deflection is less than the permissible deflection, then it is said to be safe. Okay, the section will be safe. And it is asked to find the deflection for two cases. One is for propped construction and for another unpropped construction. Okay, and rest of the parameters required for the calculation are all given. Young's modulus is given. Okay, Young's modulus is 35 kilonewton per mm square for both precast and in situ cast elements. Both slab and the beam both are having the same density of the concrete, that is same elasticity of the elasticity, models of elasticity, that is 35 kilonewton per mm square. Self-weight of the precast beam is given, self-weight of the in situ cast slab is given, imposed load on the composite section is given, and moment of inertia for precast section is given, that is for beam it is given, and moment of inertia for composite section for full T section it is given 1948 into 10 power 5 mm4. Okay. Now we will take the first case, unpropped construction. procedure, as I said, it is similar to that of the deflection problems on the normal PSC beam. Okay. Case 1, unpropped construction. Unpropped construction. Okay. For unpropped construction, first we will find the deflection. Okay. See, if you want to measure the deflection of a composite beam, let me write the cross section. Okay, this is given as 40, this is given as 400, and this is 100 and 200. Okay, then eccentricity of the bars are given, that is 33.33 mm. Eccentricity is equal to 33.33 mm. Okay, this is the given data. Geometrical properties I am writing. Now we have to calculate deflection of the composite beam for unpropped construction. Correct? When you want to calculate the deflection for a composite beam, there are total total four kinds of deflection. One is deflection due to first one is self-weight. Then self-weight of beam. Okay, deflection due to self-weight of the beam. Second one is deflection due to self-weight of or dead weight of or dead load of slab over the beam. That is the second deflection. And third deflection due to pre-stressing force. Deflection due to pre-stressing force. And lastly, the deflection due to lie load. Understood? In the previous class, we have solved a problem on analysis of stresses, where we have identified the stress due to self-weight of the beam, stress due to dead load of the slab over the beam, stress due to the pre-stressing force, stress due to the lie load, and adding all together, we used to get the resultant stresses. In the same fashion, to calculate the deflection, we need to first calculate deflection due to self-weight of the beam, deflection due to dead load of slab over the beam, deflection due to pre-stressing force, deflection due to lie load on the composite beam. Adding all together, you will get the total deflection of the composite beam. Okay, this is the procedure we have to follow. Okay, now we will find the deflection one by one. Okay, one by one. Deflection due to first one you write. First one, deflection due to dead load. Okay, dead load or self-weight of beam. Okay, self-weight of the beam, it is given. How much it is given? 0.48 Newton per mm. Correct? That you write here. Self-weight of the beam. Self-weight of beam is equal to How much it is given? 0.48 Newton per millimeter. Okay. So we know the formula for finding the deflection due to dead load. Delta DL is equal to, what is the formula? What is the formula? Anyone remembering? Deflection due to dead load. Anyone? It is 5 by 384 WGL raised to 4 divided by EC into I. Correct? Deflection due to dead load or deflection due to live load if the live load is UDL. Correct? Length of the beam is given. How much it is given? Length of the beam? It is given as 5 meter. Correct? 5 meter is the length given. L is equal to 5 meter. In terms of millimeter, it is 5000 millimeter. Okay? Because moment of inertia and Young's modulus we substitute in terms of Newton per mm square or mm raised to 4. That is why the length should be substituted in terms of mm only. Wg we have just now we have written, that is 0.48 Newton per mm. Then Young's modulus of concrete, how much it is given in the problem? It is given as, where is it? Just see the yeah, here it is given now 35 kilonewton per mm square, that you write here. EC is equal to 35 kilonewton per mm square is equal to 35 into 10 power 3 Newton per mm square. Then Young's modulus, moment of inertia of the beam. Okay, moment of inertia of the beam. Precast section means it is beam only. Okay, we are finding deflection due to dead load of the beam. Okay, beam. So moment of inertia corresponding to this beam only should be taken for the calculation. Okay, here it is not said like a beam. He said that precast section. Precast section means it is understood that it is a beam. Okay, therefore it is 667 into 10 power 5. 667 into 10 power 5 mm4. Okay, therefore deflection due to dead load is equal to 5 by 384 into Wg 0.48 into 5000 raised to 4 divided by Young's modulus 35 into 10 power 3 into moment of inertia 667 into 10 power 5. Tell me the answer.
1.67.
1.67 mm. Okay, so it will be on downward direction only because the dead load acts along the direction of gravity, so downward direction. Deflection due to dead load of the beam we have determined. What next, students? Deflection due to dead load of slab over the beam. Okay, second one you write. Second one, deflection of precast beam. Okay, deflection of precast beam due to self weight of cast in situ slab. Okay, deflection of precast beam. Okay, deflection of the beam due to the self weight of the slab. Self weight of the slab over the beam, it is given in the problem. How much it is given? Self weight of the cast in situ slab over the beam, it is 0.384 Newton per mm. correct? Now we are finding deflection of the beam due to self weight of the slab. I will call it as delta SL. Okay, is equal to 5 by 384 into WSL L raised to 4 divided by EC into I. In place of WG, you need to substitute self weight of the slab. That's it. WSL is given self weight of cast in situ slab on beam is equal to WSL is equal to 0.384 Newton per mm. Okay, therefore deflection delta SL is equal to 5 by 384 into 0.384 into 5000 raised to 4 divided by 35 into 10 power 3, and moment of inertia 667 into 10 power 5. What is the answer, students?
1.34 mm.
Yes, 1.34 mm. Okay. Now second deflection is over, that is deflection due to dead load of slab over beam, it is over. Next we will find deflection due to pre-stressing force. Third one, deflection due to pre-stressing force. Deflection due to pre-stressing force. Okay. Pre-stressing force is given in the problem. P is equal to pre-stressing force, how much it is given? (150 kilonewton) is given. Okay, pre-stressing force, initial pre-stressing force is 150 kilonewton, and it is said that there is 15% loss in this pre-stressing force. Okay, so actual given is 150 kilonewton. Effective pre-stressing force after 15% losses will be equal to how much? So 15% loss means only 85% of the 150 kilonewtons, that is 0.85 into 150. How much you will get?
0.8.
No, 0.85 into 150.
127.5 kilonewton.
Yes, 127.5 kilonewton. Okay. Now write the diagram. It is said that there is an eccentricity of 33.33 mm. Okay. Write the figure. Longitudinal section you write. Same procedure whatever we have followed while finding the deflection of the composite beam, deflection of the normal PSC beam. Okay, same procedure. See, this fifth model, it is like a combination of first, second and third model. Okay, fifth model is the combination of first, second, third model. In this fifth model, you need to solve the problems on stresses, analysis of stresses, that you have practiced in first model number 1. Then you need to find the deflection, that you have practiced in model number 2. Okay, and you need to find flexural strength of the composite beam, that you have practiced in model number 3. Okay, therefore it is combination of, if you have properly learnt model 1, 2 and 3, then it is very easy to learn model number 5. Okay, so after this problem I will be solving one problem on flexural strength of the beam, composite beam. Okay. The eccentricity between the bar and the cable, bar and the centroidal axis is given as 33.33 mm. Correct? E is equal to 33.33 mm. This is neutral axis. P is equal to how much it is? 127.5 kilonewton. Okay. What is the next step, students? Anyone remembering? Anyone remembering what is the next step? You will return the loading condition.
Deflection is equal to area into.
Yeah, correct. Before that, you write the BMD. Okay, nature of BMD for a beam carrying pre-stressing force through the straight cable. Okay, the nature of BMD will be so this is the for straight cable. The nature of BMD will be rectangular shape. Okay, for parabolic cable, the nature of BMD will be parabolic shape. Okay, I hope you are able to recall the things. So what is the intensity here? What is the intensity? Is P into E, correct? PE is the intensity. So P is 127.5. In terms of Newton, it is 127.5 into 10 power 3 into 10 power 3. What is the answer? Better I'll write on this side.
4.25 into 10 power.
Yes. Into 33.33. 4.25 into 10 power 6. Okay. Then now, so where will be the centroid here? G is the centroid. Okay. Formula. We know the formula to find the deflection due to pre-stressing force. Delta PS is equal to area into X bar divided by EC into IX. Okay. EC into IX. X bar is the distance of centroid from the first support. Okay. X bar, distance of support from the left support, or we can also consider the right portion. See, total length of the beam is 5000 mm. Total length of the beam is 5000 mm. So half of the length is 2500 mm. Okay. Therefore, the X bar will be how much? What is the value of X bar? This you elaborate. There is yes, area X bar will be 2500 divided by 2, 1125. Okay. There is only one area. It is And one more important thing, the sign is negative. Okay, sign is negative. So I have given the clear guidelines in model 2. Okay, you can refer there. The sign will be negative because this pressure force will cause hogging bending moment. That is why the sign is negative. Therefore, area is minus A into x1 bar divided by EC into IX. Okay. Now find the area. Area is equal to B into H. B is 2500. Okay. Area of this shaded portion. And H is 4.25 into 10 power 6. What is the answer?
1.06 into 10 power 10.
Yes. 1.06 into 10 power 10. Then x1 bar is equal to 2500 divided by 2. X1 bar is equal to 2500 by 2125. Sorry.
So
Sorry,
1250.
1250. Correct. So 1250 mm. Then what else is required? EC is known, IX is known. Okay. Just substitute. Therefore, delta PS is equal to minus 1.06 into 10 power 10 into x1 bar 1250 divided by 35 into 10 power 3 is the Young's modulus into moment of inertia 667 into 10 power 5. See, you are finding deflection of the beam element. Okay, that is why moment of inertia corresponding to the beam. The precast element 667 should be taken here. What is the answer?
5.67.
5.67 minus 5.67 mm. Okay. Now three types of deflections we have determined now. The lastly, deflection due to line load we have to find. Write the headline as fourth one, deflection due to line load. Okay. Line load given is it is a UDL. Okay, line load on the beam given as UDL. Imposed load on the composite section 3.2 Newton per mm. For line load, the formula is same only. Deflection due to line load is equal to 5 by 384 into WQ L raised to 4 divided by EC into IX. Okay. Line load is given, WQ is equal to 3.2 Newton per mm. Then L is 5000 mm, EC is 35 into 10 power 3 Newton per mm square. Then coming to the moment of inertia, students remember here moment of inertia of the composite section should be taken here. Okay, not the precast section. Okay, because whatever the line load acting on the beam, now composite beam, it will act over full composite beam. Okay, therefore moment of inertia corresponding to the full T section, full composite beam should be taken. That is how much? 1948 into 10 power 5 mm4. This is important, remember. Okay, 1948 into 10 power 5 mm4. Okay, because line load acts on full composite section. MI of composite section. Okay. Therefore, deflection due to line load is equal to 5 by 384 into WQ 3.2 into 5000 raised to 4 divided by EC into IX. 35 into IX is 1009 48 into 10 power 5. Tell me the answer.
$3.82.
Yes, 3.82 mm. Okay. Now we can find total deflection. Therefore, the total deflection delta is equal to sum of deflection due to dead load, deflection due to slab load on the beam, deflection due to pre-stressing force, deflection due to lie load. Okay, substitute everything, we will get the total deflection. Dead load 1.67, then 1.34, 5.67, 1.67 plus 1.34 deflection due to pre-stress is minus. Okay, 5.67 plus lie load is 3.82. What is the final answer for unpropped construction?
1.16.
1.16 mm. Okay, this is the final deflection. Okay, so this is the procedure what we have to follow for unpropped construction. Let us see what is the procedure for propped construction. Okay, second one, propped construction. Propped construction. Propped construction. See, for the propped construction, as I said in the previous class, for propped construction, this slab and beam will act as a whole. Okay, for propped construction, this slab and beam will act as a whole. It will act as a monolithic section for propped construction. Okay, therefore, while finding deflection due to slab load, okay, for propped construction, we need to take moment of inertia of the full section, because this for propped construction, this beam and the slab will act as a whole. It will act as a monolithic element. Okay, it will act as a single element having uniform material properties. Okay, therefore, that while finding deflection due to the deflection due to the slab, self-weight of the slab, we need, instead of substituting moment of inertia of the beam, only beam alone, you need to substitute full moment of inertia, that is 1948. Okay, the same procedure we have followed while finding the stresses for unpropped and propped. While finding the stresses for unpropped construction, we have taken only moment of inertia of the beam. While finding stresses for propped construction, we have taken moment of inertia of the full section. Same way, likewise, in the same way, while finding deflection, we have to follow the same procedure. Okay, for propped construction, instead of taking moment of inertia of only beam, composite section, moment of inertia of the composite section should be substituted here. Okay, and rest of the calculations are same. Rest of the values will be the same only. Okay, below rate. In case of propped construction, in case of propped construction, the beam and slab is considered as a monolithic section. Okay, monolithic section. Therefore, consider moment of inertia as moment of inertia of the composite section. It is given as 1948 into 10 power 5 mm4. Okay, therefore deflection due to slab load is equal to 5 by 384 into WSL L raised to 4 divided by EC into I composite, not the beam. Okay, I composite. Therefore delta SL is equal to 5 by 384 into self weight of the slab is given as 0.384, correct? 0.384 into 5000 raised to 4 divided by EC is 38 into 10 power 3 into I composite 1948 into 10 power 5. Tell me the answer. Very small difference, okay, small difference. That too in step 2.
Mm, 0.46.
0.46 mm. Okay. Now find the deflection, total deflection. Therefore, total deflection is equal to delta is equal to deflection due to dead load plus deflection due to slab self weight of the slab plus deflection due to precessing force plus deflection due to lie load. Okay, deflection due to dead load is 1.67. See, first this 1.67, 5.67, 3.82 remains the same. Instead of 1.34, you substitute 0.46. That's it. Okay, 1.67 plus 0.46, 1.67 plus 0.46 minus 5.67 plus 3.82. What is the answer? What is the final answer, students? 0.
0.28 mm.
Nice. Okay, this completes the problem. Okay. Any doubts here, students, in this problem? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is a problem on deflection. Now I will solve one problem on deflection. One problem on flexural strength of a composite beam. Okay, flexural strength of the composite beam. Okay, now I'll solve one problem on deflection of the flexural strength of the composite beam. Okay, flexural strength problem is as I told, similar to that of flexural strength of the normal PSC beam that you have practiced in model number 3, correct? And in the notes, I have solved one more problem on deflection that I will give you as assignment. You solve. Okay. See here, I will just explain the things in the problem number 2. See, what is asked is estimate the deflection under service loads for the composite T-beam of example 1 if the modulus of elasticity of the concrete in the precast beam and in situ cast slab are 35 and 28 kilonewton per meter square respectively. See here, in the problem, instead of giving the same modulus of elasticity for the beam and the slab, he has given different modulus of elasticity for beam and slab separately he has given for 28 and 35 he has given. In that case, how to solve the problem means, I'll just explain the procedure. You go through it once again. Further, if you get any doubts, you can contact me. Okay. See, if different modulus of elasticity for beam and the slab is given, first what you have to do is you need to calculate the ratio of Young's modulus of beam to that of slab. Okay, ratio you have to calculate. If you calculate the ratio, you will get 1.25. Okay, and while calculating deflection due to dead load and deflection due to the slab load, similar. Okay, it is similar to the procedure what we have followed for the previous problem. Okay. Same procedure, and deflection due to the pre-stress is also same. Okay, these three steps are same, only there is difference in calculating deflection due to line load. That difference is, while substituting Young's modulus, you need to substitute Young's modulus of the slab. Okay, Young's modulus of the slab, that is 28 into 10 power 3. Okay, and while substituting moment of inertia of the composite section, okay, considering this ratio 1.25, you need to substitute. Okay, calculation of moment of inertia considering this ratio of Young's modulus that I have written in the notes. I will show you here how to calculate. See, moment of inertia, as usual you calculate. Okay, as usual you calculate while finding moment of inertia. When you apply BDQ by 12 plus h square formula, no, while applying for beam, for that beam, that ratio of 1.25 should be multiplied. Okay, if you multiply by 1.25, instead of getting 1948, you will get 226 into 10 power 6. Okay, this moment of inertia should be substituted here. Okay, Ix 226 into 10 power 6. Okay, then calculate the total deflection. Okay, similarly for proper construction, for the moment of inertia of the composite section, instead of substituting 1948, 226 should be substituted. 226, how it has come? By multiplying that ratio of 1.25 in calculating the moment of inertia, we have got 226. Okay, I think I have already shared these notes in the MS Teams. I will share you once again through your friend, your class representatives. You go through it. If you get any doubts, you ask me anytime. Okay. Now we will solve one problem on flexural strength of the composite sections. Okay, it is 100% similar to that of flexural strength of the normal PSC beam. 100%. There is nothing different. Okay, let me explain that. You just go through the problem. The cross section of a composite beam is of T section having pre-tensional rib 80 mm wide, 240 mm deep, 80 mm wide and 240 mm deep, and an in situ cast slab 350 mm wide and 80 mm thick. The slab dimensions are given, beam dimensions are given. The pre-tensioned beam is reinforced with 8 wires of 5 mm diameter. I have written 8 number of wires, each having 5 mm diameter, with an ultimate tensile strength of 1600 Newton per mm square. Okay, the located 60 mm from the soffit of the beam. They are located at a distance of 60 mm from the soffit of the beam. Okay, FP is given, that is 1600. The compressive strength of concrete in situ cast and precast elements is 20 and 40 Newton per mm square respectively. Okay, if adequate reinforcements are provided to prevent shear failure at the interface, estimate the flexural strength of composite beam. Okay, estimate the flexural strength of the composite beam. We need to estimate flexural strength. Okay, so what was the procedure we used to follow for a T section to determine the flexural strength of flexural strength? What we used to do is, first we used to assume the neutral axis lies within the flange. Okay, neutral axis lies within the flange. Here I have written all the given data. It is said that in the problem there are 8 number of wires having 5 mm diameter. For that I have calculated the total area of pre-stressing steel AP, that I got as 157 mm square. Okay, then FP that is given, the tensile strength, ultimate tensile strength, it is given FP 1600 Newton per mm square. It is Newton per mm square, not the mm square. Newton per mm square. Then FCK of slab and FCK of the beam is given. Effective depth you can calculate. Okay, it is said that the bars are provided at a distance of 60 mm from the soffit. So the effective depth will be overall depth minus cover. Overall depth will be 80 plus 240 minus 60 mm cover. If you do, we'll get effective depth D. Okay, so this is the given data. Okay, now as we used to assume the depth of neutral axis lies within the flange or lies in the web, in the same fashion here also we need to make an assumption. If you look into the dimensions, the width of the flange is 350 and overall depth is around 240 plus 80, around 300 it is there. Obviously, as the depth is lesser compared to the width of the flange, obviously it will fall within the flange only. Therefore, what I have assumed is assume neutral axis within the flange. Okay, that is neutral axis XU lies within the depth of the flange. I have assumed. Okay, from table number 11 of IS 13443, I have calculated this ratio AP FP divided by BD FCK. I will go to table number 11. Okay, see from table number 11, it is a P tension wave for AP FP divided by BD FCK. I have calculated that ratio. Okay, where B is the width of the flange. See here, I assume neutral axis within the flange. No, that is why the B should be substituted with respect to width of the flange only. Okay, width of the flange you need to substitute, and FCK, as we assume neutral axis lies within the flange, whatever the grade of concrete or the characteristic strength of the concrete of the flange, FCK flange it is given, no, that only you need to substitute 20. Okay, that I have substituted and I got that ratio as 0.14. 0.14 corresponding to this ratio of 0.14. Okay, AP FP divided by BD FCK is equal to 0.14. Corresponding XU by D ratio I would determine for pre-tensioned case. Okay, for pre-tensioned case. Okay, XU by D here referring these values corresponding to AP FP is FP divided by BD FCK is equal to 0.14. I determine the corresponding XU by D value by doing the interpolation. Okay, by doing the interpolation corresponding to AP FP divided by BD FCK is equal to 0.14. Corresponding XU by D value I got it as 0.304. Okay, the effective depth is known. Effective depth is 260 mm that we have calculated earlier. 260 mm. If you substitute 260 mm, then you will get to know about the depth of neutral axis. Depth of neutral axis, when I calculated, it is coming around 79.04 mm. Okay, depth of neutral axis is 79.04 means somewhere here it will come. It is below the flange only. Below the depth of flange only. Total depth is 80, but depth of neutral axis what we have got is 79. So neutral axis lies within the flange. Our assumption is correct. Okay, assumption is correct. Okay, so we can calculate the flexural strength now with the same assumption. So from the same table number 11, I have calculated the one more ratio, that is FPU divided by 0.87 FP corresponding to 0.14 value of AP divided by BD FCK. Okay, that I got it as 1. Okay, corresponding to 0.14. 0.14 means here it will come. It is 1 only. It is 1 only. 1 I got. The FP value it is given. Ultimate tensile strength FP 1600 it is given in the problem. Substituting you will get FPU. Okay. So we know the formula for moment of resistance which is given in the code book only in the same page number. M is equal to FPU AP into D minus 0.4 to XU. Okay, everything is known. Area of pre-stressing steel is known. FPU just now we have calculated FPU. Then what else? Then XU, depth of neutral axis, we have calculated. It is 79.04. Substituting everything, you will get the ultimate moment of resistance or the flexural strength of the beam. Understood, students? You want me to explain once again the same problem? Understood? Any doubts, students? 100% similar to that of problems on model 3. Reply anyone? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Students? Yes?
No, sir.
Okay. Students, to this the model 5 is also completed. Okay, model 5 also completed. If you don't have this notes, I will share the notes. Okay, all of you prepare well for your external examinations. Okay, don't waste the time. I don't know how much you have prepared for your internals. Okay, I don't know, but for external examinations, seriously sit, don't waste the time, prepare for the subjects, all the subjects. Okay, with respect to my subject, at any point of time, if you get any doubts, if you need any clarification in any of the model, okay, anytime you can contact me. Either you can send me a WhatsApp message or you can call me directly, no problem. Anytime I will be ready to help you out. Okay, with respect to preparation of subject for your external examinations. Okay, and wish you all the best. Prepare well. Okay, I have shared all the notes. I have given all the notes of all the models. Okay, clear cut notes I have written. I think it is understandable to everyone. Okay, each and every step in detail I have written. Okay, each and every calculation. Further, if you get any doubts, anytime you contact me, I will help you out. Okay, read well and do well for your examinations. Okay, and with this, I want to share you one more thing. In another 1 or I think in another 20 days, you are going to become the engineers, civil engineers, right? So after that, as the situation is pandemic situation, still it is going on. There are some deficiencies in job opportunities in the outside world. Okay, my suggestion to you all is, instead of wasting time, okay, instead of wasting time, you can do your MTech, okay, post graduation course you can do, because there are some deficiencies in the job opportunities in this pandemic situation. You can utilize this situation for having one more degree, PG degree. Okay, my suggestion is to go for the MTech degree. Okay, you can do MTech. Okay, and especially in MTech there are several courses that will come, like environmental engineering will come, geotechnical engineering will come. Okay, and water resource will come. Okay, transportation engineering is there in MTech, structural engineering is there. Okay, my suggestion is, if you are going for a master degree, okay, master degree, you try to prefer structural engineering as your course, okay, MTech course, because structural engineering, it is a very vast area. It is a very it is having very high field. It has got lot of scope. You have several opportunities in the with respect to the jobs. You can enter into the corporate world if you complete MTech degree in structural engineering. No, if you are there, you will be learning in detail about the design of tall structures, okay, high-rise buildings, design of bridges in detail. You will be learning, okay, and some other research-oriented subject you will be learning. If you have at the degree in structural engineering, you have a lot more opportunities. Okay, you can enter into the corporate world. You can. There are several companies are there in Bangalore, and not only the Bangalore, in other cities which do the design of the mega structures, okay, tall structures, design of bridges. There you will get the opportunity to work. Okay, And as you all know, we in our college also we are having the MTech degree in structural engineering. If you are willing to join, okay, you can join our college only. Okay, with respect to your master degree, if you need further any assistance, you can contact me. Okay, anytime you can contact me. Okay, all the lab facilities are there with respect to master degree. Structural engineering lab, I think you might have seen. All the equipments, advanced equipments are there. Okay, ultrasonic pulse velocity test. Okay, then loading frame we have, rebound hammer we have. Okay, then so many non-destructive RCPT we have, rapid chloride penetration test. All the lab facilities we have, and you are already aware of the syllabus coverage, teaching everything in of our college. Okay, with respect to the MTech structural engineering in our college, only senior faculties will handle the subjects of MTech. Okay, from the department, you will get the clear notes. Okay, all the subjects will be clearly handled. Okay, because if you compare other institutions, MTech, there the so there is some negligence in other institutions with respect to the master degree. Okay, they'll think that they will prepare for themselves students, but here not the case in our college. You already know it. Okay, regularly the subjects will be taken. All the course materials will be supplied. Okay, and internship in some good companies, internship will be sent, and project will be completed within the time, and submission everything will be well within the time. And one more advantage of doing the PG is you are going to learn seriously for only 1 year. Okay, you need to learn only 12 subjects. Okay, first 2 semesters only theory subjects will be there. If you clear that, almost your degree got over only. Okay, third semester internship will be there. Fourth semester only project will be there. Okay, nothing else. Okay, in that way, for 1 year if you complete MTech, second year no problem. Without any extra effort, you can have your degree. Okay, so with this, I'll conclude the subject, students. Once again, wish you all the best for your examinations. Thank you. So I'll just download the attendance, and I will give the attendance offline. Okay, no problem. I'll download the attendance later. I will